Welcome back to Inside City Hall. It's an issue that's pitted parents of students who share a school building on the Upper West Side for months. Last week, a community education council voted to relocate the Center School, a public middle school, from the space it shares with PS199 on West 70th Street. It's now moving into another shared space 14 blocks north. Last week, two Center School parents who opposed the move came on our program, actress Cynthia Nixon and Dot Williamson. This week, we've invited a parent of a parent of a PS199 student, as well as a former school administrator, to respond to their allegations. We welcome Michelle Ciulla Lipkin and former PS199 principal Gary Goldstein. And from that intro, I think people can tell that this is a complicated issue. Involves a lot even more than just these two schools. But essentially, Michelle, I'll start with you. The Center School moving out of PS199, that's what you fought for. You must be pleased with the decision last week.
Well, it's definitely complicated. I want to be clear that we reached out to the Department of Education and the Community Education Council of District 3 because we had an overcrowding problem. Our population of our neighborhood has grown dramatically over the past few years. In 2003, we had 81 kindergarten students. This year, we have 160 kindergarten students. We are the fastest growing zone in the city, and we needed help. And we reached out to the officials to help us, and they came up with proposals, and they researched, and they met with us and met with the district, and they came up with a plan that recommended the relocation of the Center School to PS9 and the Anderson School to MS44. I want to be clear that we didn't request a movement of the Center School. We requested a solution for our overcrowding.
And your involvement in all this, because you're not the principal currently of this school.
No,
why have you gotten involved in it?
Well, I was involved with the school from the time it was unpaired with a neighboring school, and the mission of the school was to bring back the families that lived in the catchment to make it a community school again. And 20 some odd years later, we see the result. It's tremendously successful. I'm saddened by what has occurred, because here we have two schools that are very, very successful in their own right. Center School came aboard some 24, 25 years ago when the school had no population, the elementary school. So they built their organization. And then our mission became, again, to bring back, make it a viable school for the families in the neighborhood. And here, these many years later, the elementary school is in need of its space for its 5-year-olds who live across the street. And the Center School, who are about 150 youngsters, again, a successful organization. There is no doubt about that. The Center School deals with children who are basically commuting from all over the district, from the north end of the district in Harlem down to the school. And it seems like the right thing to do at this point to ask them to relocate so that the youngsters in the immediate catchment can have the seats for kindergarten.
Now, as part of all this, there have been charges of racism, which I want to get to in a moment, but you also have the parents of the Center School saying they've been there for 26 years, this is a thriving middle school, and it will be disruptive to move these children out of this school. I mean, how would you feel if you were a parent at the Center School?
Well, I have to say, this is a difficult situation. No one is saying that this is easy, and no one is questioning the merits of the Center School. It's a wonderful middle school. And the issue is there is no evidence whatsoever that they can't be a wonderful middle school in a different location. If they stay in our building, in the PS199 building on 70th Street, we won't have enough room for the neighborhood kids to go there. We would have to change our population from 7 kindergarten classes to 2 kindergarten classes. That would displace 100, if not more, neighborhood kids, and there is no solution for that. And therefore, our backs are against the wall, and we need a solution now, and this is the solution.
As far as the issue of racism that's come up, the parents of the Center School say, we're a diverse school. PS199, it's a mostly white population. We bring in kids from Harlem and from other parts of the city. And by taking us out of that space, you know, they're charging racism, as I said. And we had Cynthia Nixon on the program last week, and I want to play for you what she said about that issue.
What we're looking at in our situation is, and in one neighborhood in New York is, I mean, the thing that we say is, in one day, they can segregate 270 West 70th Street just by this stroke of the pen. We don't want to see that happen.
Your reaction?
I don't want to be angry, but it makes me angry because it couldn't be more false. First of all, we are a diverse school. Second of all, the center school's diversity has nothing to do with our diversity. We are two separate entities. And to claim that this issue has anything to do with diversity is absurd. It's a simple issue about having enough school seats for our neighborhood kids. It has nothing to do with diversity. And we are a zoned elementary school, and by definition, we allow kids that live in our zone to go to our school. We don't have a choice. They come. Whoever lives here comes to our school. As a middle school, the center school has a choice. They have an admissions process. They are a district-wide school. So, you know, the allegations they're just absurd. They really are just absurd.
When we developed the school in the first place, we opened the school originally as a school that had a large segment of the population barrier-free. In other words, kids who were in wheelchairs, kids who were physically challenged. It was a large percentage of the population. It's always been part of the mission of the school to remain diverse. I find it somehow very narrow and somehow maybe even cynical to refer to this diversity issue in such a racial way. The school has worked very hard for many years to maintain a family diversity situation that includes children with physical disabilities, children of biracial families, children of gay and lesbian groups, as well as youngsters of single parents, adoptive parents. And we've studied, parents have been introduced to it. It's been going on for decades, and we take great pride in making everyone who comes to the school welcome, have a voice, and to then turn around and say that we are racist is somehow very, very incorrect.
All right, on that note, we have to pause for a break. We'll be right with our PS199 panel, and later the results of